Well, 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, and once again, there's the view. Just when we leave the hostel, turn right, and that's what we've got right ahead of us, the Registrun. Lisa came back about an hour and a half ago from hoping to see it around about sunrise time, and she'd also gone by a couple of nights to see it at sunset time. But you know, you really don't get much of a sunset or sunrise because of the number of buildings in the way and all those sort of obstructions. So you kind of really have to go up high, which there's nowhere really. Well, there probably is somewhere. Anyway, I'll zoom back out again and just want to say something. Do you remember a couple of days ago I took a video, and in that video there was that bicycle. You know, there's your normal bicycles, right? But there are some bicycles you almost lay flat on them to cycle, and you don't go as fast and what have you, right? But anyway, somebody had one of them. Assalamu alaikum. There you go. They're wondering, presumably they know what a video is and what I'm doing. Anyway, and there was that bicycle, and the lady riding that was a German lady called Annette, somewhere in her 40s, and she was saying that she was about 3 or 4 months into a 4-year trip, wherever. The thing about it is that she'd had a stroke not long ago, and therefore she couldn't walk properly, and she didn't have full use of one of her hands, and that was one of the reasons why she had that sort of bike, because you can kind of lay almost flat. I mean, you kind of, you know, your head is raised obviously so you can see where you're going. You can't go that fast. Going up hills must be an absolute nightmare in some of the places where we've seen. And it you know, did make me think that at any one time on this planet of ours, there are people like her doing all sorts of things like that, and the grand majority of them are not famous. A few of them may have blogs and websites, things like that, but the overwhelming majority of them, I mean, we never hear of, right? And there she is, just one of many, but doing, you know, something that's quite extraordinary, really, and not doing it for money. And most of these people that do things like that, you know, are just average, if you like, and have had to sort of scrimp and save and everything else. But anyway, so it's a little inspirational. But one thing about people like her and others is that they do tend to stay, you know, when they're not camping, because they all have got tents with them, but they tend to stay at places where at least when I've stayed, and the Pamir Lodge in Tajikistan was one such place. I mean, there were all sorts of people there on bicycles, motorbikes, some walking. There was that vehicle there from South Korea, and you know, certain accommodation throughout the world is a meeting place for, you know, people sort of doing these kind of adventuresome type things, and as is the place here in Samarkand. I mean, it's not as clean inside and all the rest of it, to be honest, but it is a bit of a meeting place. And here, just, you know, parked outside, you see this large vehicle. It's got German plates. Haven't actually spoken to any of those people yet, actually, so I don't exactly know where they're going. But presumably, you know, that vehicle is all kitted out with all sorts of things. I've seen things like that before, actually. I remember seeing something like that in Morocco. Here's a van here from Austria. There's the front of that. I mean, presumably they're going to be doing some serious four-wheel driving and what have you. Although for most four-wheel driving, you know, a good four-wheel drive gets you out of most situations. So maybe they're planning something a little bit more serious. Don't know. Anyway, and here's a little car. This is the sort of car that you'd see on the Mongol Rally. It's got German plates on it as well. So I don't know their situation. As we come back inside, 4 bikes here, 2 from Russia, 2 from Austria. And hopefully Lisa's making a large pot of coffee. I mean, you know, when you look at these big motorbikes, you know, and what they're doing, that kind of seems easy compared to what that German lady is doing. Anyway, and now back inside, where hopefully a cup of coffee is upon moi. Right.